Today we're diving into a bit of graphic design theory, and whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, these are things that every graphic designer should know. And first up, we're going to take a look at visual hierarchy. Visual hierarchy. It's a bit like the conductor of an orchestra, steering the audience's attention through the symphony of design elements. But why is it so important in graphic design? Well, let me explain. Picture this, you're strolling through a bustling marketplace surrounded by stalls, all vying for your attention. Now, which one catches your eye first? Likely the one with the big bold sign, right? That, my friend, is visual hierarchy in action. In graphic design, visual hierarchy is all about guiding the viewer's gaze and making the important parts of a design stand out. Think of it as giving your design a roadmap, directing the eye from the headline to the subheading and then down to the body text. However, what happens when there's no visual hierarchy? Chaos. Pure chaos. It's like trying to navigate a maze without a map. Your eyes will dart around like a frightened rabbit, unsure where to land or what to focus on. But don't worry, with a bit of design wizardry, we can tame the chaos and restore order by adjusting things like size, weight, color, and placement of design elements. And in doing this, we can create some visual hierarchy that guides the viewer's journey. And it's important to remember that visual hierarchy isn't just a fancy term that gets tossed around, it's the secret sauce that can elevate your designs from good to great, better, grand, or other words, define greatness. Magnificence, yes! Okay, next up we're going to look at typography, which is the art or technique of arranging type, or to put it another way, to maketh thy words good. Perhaps it needs to be fun and playful, subtle yet powerful, sophisticated and approachable. But what makes good typography? Well, first things first, legibility. Picture yourself trying to read a handwritten note from a doctor with especially bad handwriting. At best, it's going to be confusing, and at worst, well, very bad. You see, good typography is all about clarity, choosing fonts that are easy on the eyes, and having clear distinctions between the different letters is key. Also, consider the size that these letters will be displayed at, because depending on the size, some of those more intricate details may or may not be visible. And yes, I'm looking at you, tiny website header navbar thing. Next up, font pairing, which is like pairing a delicious cheese with a fine wine, because combining fonts that complement each other creates visual harmony and hierarchy. There's that word again. Now, let's talk about spacing. Just like giving the people next to you at the bar a bit of elbow room, adjusting kerning and leading ensures that your text has enough breathing room. Too tight and it feels cramped like a rush hour tube ride, and too loose and it's like shouting across a football pitch. And finding that sweet spot is the key to typographic bliss. And last but not least, alignment. Now, think of your text as a well-organized queue at the local chip shop. Everyone knows their place. Brits, you know what I mean. And aligning your text with precision and establishing a clear hierarchy ensures that your message will hit the mark every single time. And remember, good typography is not about just picking pretty fonts, as much as we would like to think otherwise. No, it's about creating an experience and effectively communicating information in a way that makes sense. Okie dokie, now let's talk about color, which is the spice of life in the world of graphic design. But how do you go about choosing the right colors? Well, just ask ChatGPT. That's what we do nowadays. We just type it in there and there you go, you're a designer. Well, first, let's start with a bit of color psychology and how using different colors can evoke different emotions. Red for passion, blue for tranquility, and green for, well, something a bit more naturey. In fact, here's a summary showing a bunch of popular colors and the emotions they can evoke. And understanding these will help you create designs that speak to your audience on a deeper level. It's also important to remember that colors and their meanings will vary depending on where you are in the world. In the Western world, the color black is typically associated with death, whereas head a bit further east and the color for death is actually white. So if you're designing for a business in a different part of the world to you, this is definitely something to research first. Next up, a slight pivot to color accuracy and consistency. And this is something that's essential for designers to understand, and having a display that's capable of accurately reproducing color, well, is very important indeed. In fact, years ago, I used to have a tiny monitor that had terrible color accuracy. Like, you just couldn't even tell the difference between gray and white. Yeah, it was that bad, which, as you can imagine, caused a few print-related problems. But going a step further from accuracy, color consistency between displays is equally important, especially if you have a multi-display setup. And this is where I'd like to thank BenQ for sending me their new PD3225U professional display created specifically for designers. And apart from being a looker with the really obvious nod to the whole space gray thing, what makes this display special is the IPS black panel that gives deeper blacks, and how it has a dedicated M-Book color profile that is designed to accurately reproduce colors that are virtually identical to the colors you'd get on something like a MacBook. Simply connect just one Thunderbolt 3 cable to a MacBook, which not only powers the device, but that also provides power to the other USB ports to charge things like phones, watches, or if you're like me, camera batteries and all sorts of other crap that now apparently inhabits my desk. Like, I only moved in a month ago. I don't know how my desk has got this messy. What do you like, Dan? Something else worth mentioning is the Display Pilot 2 app that enables you to quickly switch between different color profiles or change brightness and volume across multiple displays, all from one place, which is refreshingly convenient. So yes, color accuracy and color consistency between displays, super important. And instead of just bombarding you with a horde of specs, I'll add some links with more info in the video description if you'd like to find out more about this stunning display. Right, next up, color harmony. And this is like a well-rehearsed band playing perfectly in sync and combining colors that play nicely together. Well, this creates a visual feast for the eyes, with none of that clashy business. And if you're new to color, well, the good old color wheel is a great place to start. And there's many different types of relationship between these different colors, and two of the most common are complementary colors, which are colors positioned opposite each other on the color wheel, and also analogous colors, analogous. This video just got demonetized. I need to look this up. Analogous pronunciation.
We are looking at how to pronounce this word, as well as how to say more interesting and related. How do you say it? Analogous.
Analogous! There we go. Mystery solved. Right, now let's try and read that again correctly. The lights just fell down. Okay, analogous colors, and these are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, and together they look aesthetically pleasing and produce a calming effect as they gradually blend into one another, as opposed to the intensity of complementary colors that typically have more contrast. And speaking of contrast, in the design world, this is the difference between a whisper and a shout. And choosing colors with enough contrast ensures that your message or your call to action stands out. None of that squinting and trying to figure out what's written, just crystal clear like a summer's day. Unless you're in the UK, of course, where summer is mostly grey, grey, grey. Oh look, more f***ing grey. And contrast is especially important when designing for screens, and fortunately there are plenty of sites where you can enter the values of multiple colors and actually find out if they have enough contrast from an accessibility perspective. And last but by no means least, brand colors, which is like your design signature, instantly recognizable and dripping with personality. And here, consistency is key. So if you're designing for a business or client, define brand colors that accurately reflect their products and services or how the brand would like to be perceived, which again goes back to that color psychology stuff we looked at earlier. And when a brand has a clearly defined suite of colors, they're going to be visually more consistent regardless of where someone interacts with them, which also helps them become more recognizable over time, because everywhere that brand is featured, the look and feel is the same. So to summarize, yes, colors are very important, and choosing good colors isn't about just picking your favorite shades. Nope. It's about choosing colors that are going to best represent the brand, their products and services, or that will fit the brand's personality. So hopefully this video was helpful. Thank you again to BenQ for sending me this beast of a monitor. And of course, a massive thank you to you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.